here, the Day-to-Day Apologist. Welcome to part 33 of my What Jesus Said series. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you go to the playlist, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Now, I've got some important stuff, or I should say Jesus has got some important stuff to talk about today. So let's get into it. Matthew 7:13 through 14 says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." Now, it's interesting that while Jesus is speaking in Galilee up on this mountain and he's wrapping up his first sermon, he's beginning to end with these examples. He's been leading everything up until the salvation path, because one leads to life, one leads to destruction. He gives his illustration of two paths with two gates, one straight, narrow, and small, the other broad, wide, and easy. He says, few go on the straight and narrow, many go on the broad. You know, it's interesting, but a lot of people, when they think to themselves, the people that are probably going to this destruction and the other people that are going to life, we think of people that are like godly, like, how, the Simpsons always portrayed like the Flanders family. It's like this holier than thou. They're praying on their knees while they float up into heaven, and or just this constant sign of perfection. And though that might be a compliment, it's not the reality of Christians. We're needing of grace. We're hurting. We're messed up. We're not that much different from the rest of the world. The only difference is that Christ dwells in us, and we are supposed to be representing Christ. The reason why it's a straight and narrow path is because the path that Jesus followed was full of turmoil, difficulty, hardship, persecution, and self-sacrifice. Jesus didn't have to die on the cross for us, folks, but he chose to do it. Why? He did it out of love. Love for the Father and the love for us. And we owe him at least giving our lives over to him. At least that. But we don't do it out of obligation or to return the favor. We do it because we love him. And that's why few will go down that path. Because many people try to go down these certain paths, and they do it for self-justification, they do it for pride, they do it for self-worship, and that's all the people that are going down the broad and narrow road, and they all think they're going to heaven. And I think that's one of the biggest tricks Satan has on this path. He has a sign, and it doesn't say hell on it, it says heaven. Most people think they're going to heaven. Most people say, I'm a good person, I do good things. Most people say these things, but the truth is, and this is the truth, folks, the truth is that they're blind and they're worshiping themselves. And when you choose to go down a path where you're worshiping yourself, it's going to lead to destruction. I beg you, I implore you, please do not let a prayer or the fact that you were baptized at one point be the dictating decision on whether you're saved or not. Your life should always represent the cost and the price of Jesus on the cross, and how much you love him and want to share that truth, and how much you change through that truth to others. That's one of the things that we have to do to be on the narrow path. Share our faith with others. We also need to be willing to defend our faith. If you can't defend your faith, how can you call yourself a Christian? If you're unable to share your faith with other people, how can you call yourself a Christian? Christian means Christ-like. When we stand in the gap or we stand in the crowd, people see Jesus, not us. Folks, this is serious, and Jesus is going to give lots of examples in the following videos to come. And I hope you listen and pay attention to what he has to say, because he talks about the difference between one and the other. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless you. If you don't know Jesus, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you on how you can give your life over to Jesus and become a new creation. God bless you guys. And please, if you're a Christian, share this video with somebody else, because they might be on that path and you might be the only person God's put in their life to get them from that broad path to the straight and narrow. God bless and have a great day.